Good evening. Welcome to your town hall. Having reached the hour of 6:30, probably about 2, I hereby call this meeting to order of the town council. Again, to inform everybody that tonight's meeting will be broadcast live. Tonight, you're in for a fun-filled evening. We have 3 meetings as well as a study session, but we're going to feed you at the end. We'll begin with our regular council meeting, and then after the pledge, invocation, I'll recess the regular meeting and then go to the 2 community facilities district CFD meetings, one for Rancho Cerrito and one for Quail Creek. After the CFD meetings, reconvene the regular meeting, and during our regular meeting, we'll have item number 12. We'll have a study session regarding the FY20 manager's budget. Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. He's given me the privilege of introducing the next 2 items. The invitation will be given by Caleb Allred, who is the Cerrito Police Department's commander and just an all-around great guy. And then the pledge of
direct the mayor and council members as they listen to things that are brought before them, that they'll be able to make correct choices, that they'll have the wisdom to know what is best for our community and for the residents living here. We give you thanks, Father, for all that we've been blessed with, and pray that thou will continue to guide and direct our leaders in this community, and we do so in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Commander. Now it's your turn.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Commander. At this time, I'll suspend the town council meeting and commence with our Rancho Cerrito Community Facilities District meeting. I hereby call this meeting to order of the Rancho Cerrito Community Facilities District. And Madam Clerk, may I have a roll?
Board Member Rocco.
Here.
Board Member Hicks. Absent. Board Member Lusk.
Here.
Board Member Skelton.
Here.
Board Member Zimmerman.
Here.
Vice Chair Egbert.
Here.
Chair Murphy.
Here.
Quorum present.
Thank you. Next, we have a call to the public, but this call to the public is for the CFD. I know I have a lot of call to public cards, but they're for the regular meeting. Would anybody like to address the board on the Rancho Cerrito CFD? Seeing no movement, I will close the call to the public on that. And item number 4 is the consent agenda. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next, we have item number 5, Madam Clerk.
Possible adoption of resolution number 2019-0013, approving a tentative budget for fiscal year 2020 in the amount of $447,060, pursuant to section 48-716 Arizona Revised Statutes as amended, setting a public hearing date on said tentative budget, filing statements and estimates of the operation and maintenance expenses of the Rancho Cerrito Community Facilities District. The cost of capital improvements to be financed by the approved ad valorem tax levy and the amount of all other expenditures for public infrastructure and enhanced municipal services proposed to be paid from the tax levy, and of the amount to be raised to pay general obligation bonds of the Rancho Cerrito Community Facilities District, all of which shall be provided for by the levy and collection of ad valorem taxes on the assessed value of all the real and personal property in the Rancho Cerrito Community Facilities District, providing for the notice of filing of the statements and estimates and notice of a public hearing on the portions of the statements and estimates not relating to debt service on general obligation bonds, and providing that this resolution shall be effective after its passage and approval according to law.
Thank you. Better drink a lot of water tonight. You know, a lot of reading. Next, we have Mr. Mariotti. He's our district treasurer and will provide an overview of the Rancho Cerrito CFD tentative budget for fiscal year 2020. AC?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the board.
I'm the chairman.
Mr. Chairman. I told myself I was going to. There we go. Tonight you'll have an opportunity to adopt the tentative budget for the Rancho Cerrito CFD. As you recall, the tentative budget sets the feeling for the upcoming year. So when we bring the final budget back to you in 2 weeks, you can shift things around in the budget, you can lower the budget, but you can't go over portions that are being developed currently and some in the future. At build-out, the district is planned to have 3,267 residential units in it and about 1.25 million square feet of commercial space. Every January or February, we get reports from the county assessor's office, which gives us information about the properties within the district. So I have some statistics here which I think you'll find interesting, but just keep in mind that the information is dated. So as an example, the reports show that there are 3 residential lots in the district. Well, if you drive around, you're going to see a lot more than that. So the information is dated, and it just depends on when the assessor's employees can come out and do the assessments. But regardless, this will set the tax rolls for the upcoming fiscal year. So we have 3 residential lots, which represents much less than 1% of the total build-out of the district. So most of the property in the district is currently vacant according to the tax rolls. Total taxable net assessed valuation is $1.57 million. That's the residential properties as well as all the vacant land. And that is a 33% increase over the 2019 assessment, which was $819,000. So quite a bit of valuation increases there. And that happens when you put infrastructure into the ground and the assessor comes out, they take note of those things. So we're seeing that reflected in our valuations. Okay, so the district was, pursuant to statute, is a tax levying public improvement district whose purpose is to finance the acquisition and maintenance of public infrastructure and facilities. So when the district was formed, there was a bond election that authorized $60 million bond capacity. And with that capacity and bond authorization came the approval to tax the properties within the district with a property tax. So in 2018, $5.78 million in general obligation bonds were issued. Those bonds financed the construction and acquisition of Avenida Mitla, Phase 1, Casita Fara, which is a road, Region 6 Ranch Street Boulevard, and Avenida Mitla Phase 2. So all of those, all that infrastructure should be acquired by the end of this fiscal year. Okay, we haven't made any principal payments on the debt yet. The entire $5.78 million is still outstanding. And the debt is slated to be paid off in fiscal year 2043. So even though the district is legally separate from the town, its relationship with the town is such that it gets pulled into the town's financial reporting entity pursuant to the Governmental Accounting Standards Board statements. And the reason for that is because the district board members are the town council members. District staff are town staff. Doesn't have a separate board, doesn't have separate staff. And so as a result of that, GASB says this is a component unit of the town. It needs to be included in the town's financial reports, and it's accounted for as a special revenue fund. So when we talk about the town's budget, you're going to see this district show up in there. So with that, we finally get to the 2020 budget, and that's programmed at $447,060. This is a $4.01 million decrease, or 90% decrease from the current budget. And the reason for that is the current budget included over $4 million in unspent bond proceeds to buy some infrastructure. So once those bond proceeds are spent, those resources aren't available for the 2020 fiscal year, so that's the kind of moving problem. It is a balanced budget, and that means that the financing sources, that pie chart on the left, is equivalent to the financing uses, the pie chart on the right. So essentially, every dollar we have at the beginning of the year, plus all the dollars we're going to collect during the year, we have to account for that somewhere. It's accounted for either as a spend, an expenditure in some category that the board will authorize, or you won't allow us to spend it, and it gets carried forward as savings for future years. Also, municipalities in the state of Arizona can't issue debt to pay for operations, so there's no games like that being played. Okay? If we look at the revenues, you see that property taxes comprise $76,000 or 17% of the total revenue sources, and that's going to be generated by a $4.99 per $100 net assessed valuation tax rate. there are two components to that tax rate. First component is $4.69, and that was authorized by the voters when the bonds were put to vote. So when the vote came yes, it also said you're allowed to tax our property to pay for those bonds. So $4.69 will be used for that. State statute allows for another 30 cents to be used for operations and maintenance. So obviously we have infrastructure now, we have responsibility to maintain that. So the 30 cents will pay for some of those maintenance costs, but ultimately the town will have to pitch in for the remainder. So when the district bonds were issued, the developer agreed to pay the difference between what the district's going to collect in property taxes for debt service and what our annual debt service obligations are. So that difference is going to come to the district in the form of a developer contribution, and that's programmed at $371,000 approximately. That makes up 83% of the sources. So this is pretty common when you have a new CFD that, we're kind of just getting kickstarted in the district. So once there's more development, you're going to see those highways change over time. Okay, looking at the expenditure side of the budget, again, $447,000. You see that really its primary function right now is to pay its debt. So $425,000 or 95% of the total expenditures are for debt service. And that includes $129,000 for bond principal and $291,000 for bond interest. And there's a small component for bank charges related to the debt. Operations is a much smaller component, only 5% of the total, programmed in at $21,000, and that will pay for district administrative and engineering costs and street maintenance costs. There are no ending fund balances because the district will utilize all of the resources available to it to balance out. It requires a developer contribution to essentially get to that balance point. So with that, the resolution before you tonight, if approved, would adopt the fiscal year 2020 tentative budget, at which point the budget document would be given to the district clerk, the local library, and also placed on our website. The resolution also establishes a public hearing and notice thereof for final budget adoption, which is slated for June 10th, 2019. And with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for the district treasurer? If no questions, I'll entertain a motion at this time.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I move to adopt resolution number 2019-0013.
Second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Chair Murphy?
Present.
Quorum present.
Thank you. Next, we have call to the public, and this is only for the Quail Creek Facilities District. Does anybody would like to address the Quail Creek Facilities District Board? Seeing no movement, I will close the call to the public and move to item number 4, which is the consent agenda. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And now we move to item number 5. Madam Clerk.
Possible adoption of resolution number 36, approving a tentative budget for fiscal year 2020 in the amount of $1,012,410 pursuant to section 48716, the Arizona Revised Statutes as amended. Setting a public hearing date on said tentative budget, filing statements and estimates of the operation and maintenance expenses of the Quail Creek Community Facilities District, the cost of capital improvements to be financed by the approved ad valorem tax levy, and the amount of all other expenditures for public infrastructure and enhanced municipal services proposed to be paid from the tax levy, and of the amount to be raised to pay general obligation bonds of the Quail Creek Community Facilities District, all of which shall be provided for by the levy and collection of ad valorem taxes on the assessed value of all the real and personal property in the Quail Creek Community Facilities District, providing for notices of filing the statements and estimates and notice of a public hearing on the portions of the statements and estimates not relating to debt service on general obligation bonds, and providing that this resolution shall be effective after its passage and approval according to law.
Thank you. Mr. Mariani. He will be briefing us on the overview of the Quail Creek Community Facilities District for fiscal year 2020.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Members of the board. This is going to be a little bit repetitive, but there's a method to the madness, and that is if anybody listens to the recordings, they might not hear the previous discussions from the other usually separate entities. So So this agenda item will provide the board an opportunity to approve the tentative budget for fiscal year 2020. And again, the tentative budget sets the budget cap for fiscal year 2020. So when it comes time to adopt the final budget, we can move things around within the budget, we can lower the budget amount, but we can't go above the ceiling that's approved tonight. A little background on the district. It was formed by the Sahuarita Town Council on September 12, 2005. So this district is our most mature district within the town. It includes 1,192 acres, all within the Sahuarita town limits. The total Quail Creek development is 2,113 acres, so the CFD makes up about 56% of the total community, or the planned community out there. At build-out, we expect to see about 2,600 residential properties within the district. Total net assessed valuation, this would include any vacant land out there, any of the HOA-owned properties out there,